Hello, YouTube.
We come in peace.
Live long and prosper. Wait,
I have to think about doing it. Live long and prosper. Not a Star Trek person.
Can you move it?
What does that even mean?
Can you move your fingers?
You just ended our thing, didn't you?
I didn't. I haven't done anything.
So it just
You
went
changed
out.
your device.
What the fuck does it even mean?
Well, you
I
broke
didn't even
something.
do anything.
Haha, for once I'm not fucking it up.
Very true.
Do you guys like my ugly sweater?
That's a good one.
Good time to rock it Sunday on my way back from New York. For some reason, I thought our game was at 3 o'clock yesterday. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I think we're not recording.
Well, at least we get to give him shit, so.
Why am I on the other side? That ruins everything.
Hold.
What
I
does
can't.
it ruin?
There you go.
It ruins my good look. I look better on the right side.
Shut up. All right, pause
Steph
for
has been lying to
Boopin.
you.
I know. Pause for you. And we're already recording, so I can't change your echo. All right, you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Sure.
Doing the intro, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Here we go.
Welcome to the Trio Positivity Podcast. My name is Mike, and I am one of the only winners in this podcast because I actually won my fantasy league, and these other guys are still losers, and I could see them all rolling their eyes. But you know what? I get to keep that label for another year. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be going over week 18.
And my microphone just can't work correctly.
It could handle the positivity.
God, you know what? That's just perfect. That's just a sign of the times that this karma just wants you to shut the fuck up. Oh, this was beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, it went out again. As Miller was saying, we're talking week 18. It's been a tough season for the Bears, right? We haven't had much positivity post bye week. We get to end the season on a high. Week 18 win, barely winning 5 games. Let's fucking go.
And he's gone.
I don't know what he's saying. I'm loving this though. As he's waiting, Chris, what's up with you, buddy? How are you doing?
But I am tired. I'm like drained. I don't think I've been feeling like this for some time, but I'm feeling good, man. You know, I got to catch up on the group chat. There's been a lot of
Lots of happening.
a lot of slander, which is just being allowed randomly. No one seems to want to correct people, but I think that'll be
Correct?
a fun.
There's no correction needed.
There's a lot of correction needed.
Can you pause my recording?
People don't understand what lame duck actually means.
Yeah, you're the one.
And, you know, it's just... I feel like I'm the only one that truly understands it, but, you know, I feel like I've been dragging so I can get Miller back into the show. So I think we can keep going now, Boopin.
Awesome. Miller, I hope you're doing well as well. I won't ask because your mic's going to go out again.
Well, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to be honest with you. I think if I touch this wire, it screws everything up. So, fuck. I was going to say that I started the year with dry January. Well, that subsequently lasted 7 days. 7. Yes, that's how good I am at this. And I'm back, baby.
Miller, can you tell us how many days are in January? Just to let the
31.
people know?
So the decision was kind of made because I found out that Chris was going to be on this podcast. And in order to deal with someone like that, you got to drink. That's like the only way. It's like
I
the
don't
only
know
way.
about that.
Talk about group text. I think that should be called double down and triple down because no one ever backs out for the fuck they say and they double and triple down.
That's what I'm saying. But you know what's funny about all of that is I'm the one that brings life to the podcast and to the group chat. I've noticed that whenever I write something or I say something, it energizes everyone else up.
That's one way to
That's
look
what
at it.
that is literally what a troll does.
I wouldn't say I'm a troll. I'm just a smart sports fan.
Yeah, okay.
If you want to see
How many
more
coaches are
content-
fired on a yearly basis? Would you say 4? Yeah.
I thought the
Good
max
job,
that I
guys.
saw was 4 or 5 availability during a season, and I thought I saw a stat that was actually the average.
No, it's not. It's 7. Thank you.
Usually it's 6 to 8, yeah. But hey, if you want to see more content like this, we have a social plug coming in. We are under Facebook at Trio Positivity Podcast. Still doing my job. Thank you very much. At Twitter, X, we are at Trio Positivity. At YouTube, you can watch us live at Trio or Positivity Podcast. And we may or may not have a TikTok. Still not confirmed. We have a website. Chris is writing some stuff for us there. All that jazz aside, let's talk football. People, the NFL season is in the books. Give me
No,
some.
it's not. The regular season is in the books.
For the most
No,
part.
for our team, it's in the books.
Yeah.
It's been in the books for a long time.
That's not factual.
Very
Wrong
much
again.
so.
Okay. Either of you, any quick reaction on week 18 or
Thank God it's fucking over.
The best QB in the league is out of the playoffs.
Yeah, Justin Fields didn't get a chance to.
Joe Burrow, statistically the best quarterback, is not in the playoffs.
Oh wow, that was something. Like, had they made it in, God, I would have hated to face that team.
Yeah.
It would have been fun to watch like that kind of. Would they have really made a run given their position? I think they would have gotten 6, right?
Yeah, they would have made a run.
You think so?
Well, they would have made 7. They would have probably been
It'll be-
7th, I would
it'll be
imagine.
7th, yeah.
I thought it was 6 because of the. I
NFC.
thought I might be wrong. I'm
You're
still
wrong.
tired, so
They're like barely.
It would have been
500.
7th. It would have started with Buffalo, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Right off
What
the
a-
rip.
Woo! But no, but like week 18.
Now we have to
might-
watch Denver and Buffalo.
that still looks like a great game, though.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
What do you mean?
Uh,
Wait. What do you mean you don't know? Why?
Why do you think it's going to be a good game?
A rookie starting in the postseason again?
Exactly. You just made our points for us.
I'm
Moving
sorry,
on.
but the last rookie that did it last year was in the Texans, and they did pretty good. Why would we not want to see if Denver can do it too?
I don't know. I don't think Stroud and Knicks are in the same level. Peyton has done a pretty masterful job of like masking some of the things he doesn't do as well and highlighting the things he does do well, which I'm proud of him to do. But I think Buffalo's going to expose him. It's going to be a one-sided game.
That's what he said.
That's my opinion on him. But I wanted to say that Saints almost made the playoffs a lot more fun, especially the Atlanta Falcons and Carolina Panthers game. It was going back and forth, and Saints were beating the Buccaneers by maybe 2 touchdowns at one point, or at least more than one score. If that would have flipped, Falcons would have been in the playoff instead of the Buccaneers too. That was almost too much fun for Week 18. But
Well, how perfect would that have been? Because we wouldn't have heard the end of it. Because if that would have happened, then Caleb was the only quarterback not to make the playoffs.
oh god, I mean, we would have heard one way or another.
Rookie,
but
first round.
Anyway, we would have heard it. I mean, no, Drake didn't make it.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Drake. You're right.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't know, Phoenix.
Penis?
How do you say his name? Phoenix.
Penix?
Thank you.
Okay.
God damn
Yeah.
it. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
Something
funny.
has something on the mind.
Seriously. Makes me
But
want a hot dog real bad.
that was almost fun. Anything else stand out for you, Chris? Week 18 NFL season overall.
Just a lot of stuff that happened after, like Tyreek wants to get out of Miami. He said it like immediately after the game. I thought that was funny. I didn't think that's something that would just be
That
openly
is
discussed.
that is nuts. He's making
Yeah.
like 30 million.
And then
He's gotta make-
Ramsey said it too.
Yeah.
There's some shit that's
There's
going on.
there's like a lot of chatter, and then obviously we'll probably get into it, but like what's happening in Dallas, where a lot of people are discussing McCarthy's contract, which they're giving him shit for. So it's just been fun.
Yeah, no, it looks like it'll be a lot happening this off season. I don't know. I think like the news cycle seems to be a lot more fun too. It just seems like a lot more things are coming out. So yeah,
Isn't that weird? I was thinking about this. When has, like, us being Bear fans, we have been in it with new GMs and new coaches. When has it been this, like, vocal? I don't ever remember, like, the teams
Maybe-
announcing on Twitter who they're interviewing.
Oh no, we talked
even
about this.
press
You might not
conferences-
remember this. We talked about this like 3 years ago. And we started saying, I even ask, I'm like, since when is it a thing that Twitter NFL teams are like, hey, we interviewed so and so, we interviewed this person.
But it's
and-
not even we interviewed. It's
Just like
we
We're
requested.
interested. Yeah,
Oh,
It's
like,
nuts.
but I think
Not-
there's
not
a
even
reason
that.
for that.
like people when they're keeping people, they're like putting out press conferences. Like Colts said they put out a conference saying, "Hey, they're not in trouble." Or
Yeah.
the Giants, like they put out a conference. They never do that unless they're in trouble. You don't hear from them.
Well,
That's why you-
So here's the thing. I think they've gotten a lot of like the feedback from like baseball, because baseball was like that. When the season was over, they would have a press conference like every day of a team, like announcing who's staying, who's leaving. But I think a lot of it has to do with the Rooney Rule, I think it was called, for the knowing what coaches were being interviewed and just making sure that they had
representation.
yes, I believe
The
that was one of the
minorities.
reasons.
That has
Yes.
nothing to do with.
No, we talked
announcing
about
it.
this we talked about this 3 years ago because there was no way of how to keep track.
They're not using
thing-
Twitter to keep track.
It's an
One thing
official.
I heard.
I
is
think
that-
it's just they just want to be in the news.
Yeah,
This
like
is another
if
way
you're
to-
friends with some like GMs and like people higher up, you give your friends an interview. So like next cycle, even if they don't get a job this cycle, that elevates their profile as being looked at as being a head coach candidate. I heard a lot of that today, saying that,
Or if you're the Patriots and you do two former coordinators that can't get a job as a coordinator and have them in as a head coach hire and call it
bring them back. Yeah. No,
such
but
a
like
joke.
some of the teams interviewing, like I don't know, freaking we are interviewing everybody and their mothers. We'll talk about it in a minute, but it seems like because the teams are criticized for like not sharing, or like Bears got criticized as heck for not even bringing Harbaugh in, or not, I don't know, not even reaching out to him. God knows what's
remember
true
that.
there. But like this time, they're like literally reaching out to college coaches and being like, "Hey, you want to talk about this job? Hey,
I think
what
we
about
even
this?"
talked about that when we were looking at who was the coach at USC with Caleb,
Kingsbury.
Are you?
It was
It's
Kingsbury. I
not
mean, we talked-
Kingsbury.
or we talked about
But-
someone that was coming and then we were like, oh yeah, they're announcing like even college coaches. So like they're trying to either have like an open discussion and trying to get like the fans' point of view, which that's never a great idea. But yeah,
I
it's
mean,
been
like-
it's been interesting, especially with the decline of interviews. I think I've only seen 2 that got posted.
What's the other one? I know McCarthy. What's the other one?
McCarthy was one, and I think there was one, but it was because they were a playoff team, so they didn't want to do it yet.
Like all supposedly Bears, all of them are virtual. I don't know if that's because of time constraints or even people they can meet in person. They're doing virtual first round.
So they can only meet active coordinators virtually. So if you're still in the playoffs, you can only be done virtually.
Yeah.
But if you are a unemployed individual, then you could be in person. So I don't know. I mean, we can get into that later after we discuss the Bears victory.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I decided to go in a different way today. We're gonna talk about this win in 3 different trends that I saw. Okay, lots of firsts. Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears had a lot of firsts in their Week 18 24-22 win over the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field. Yes. First road win since 2021 on a Sunday. First Bears win against the Packers since Soldier Field in 2018. Shout out to Mitch, Chris. First win against Green Bay in Lambeau Field since Cuddy spoiled Brett Favre's Thanksgiving in 2015. Lots of firsts. Second thing I noticed, breaking.
You're not even
streak.
going to continue?
Go. Keep going until he stops me. I have a question for you at the end. Breaking streaks. Bears broke 2 sad streaks. Their current 11-game losing streak and 11 games in a row lost to Green Bay. We broke both the records. I know it's not positive, but we are breaking streaks here. The last one. Redemption and a glimmer of hope. Cairo Santos made a game-winning 50 yards kick to redeem the 31-yard game-winning field goal that was blocked in Chicago in Green Bay in Week 10. Now, here's the question for you. We had higher hopes for the Bears, right? We wanted them to be competitive. At least 500 is what we predicted at the beginning of the season. Now, with this win in Green Bay to spoil Green Bay's playoff seeding, does this redeem this lost season for the Bears?
Yes.
Whoa, thank you.
No.
Chris, bring us down, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah. No.
Wait, what was the question?
You're saying yes, and you don't even remember the question?
I thought he said, does this still mean it's a lost season for the Bears?
No, I said, does this win redeem this lost season?
No.
for the Chicago Bears?
No.
No.
Why would you say yes the first time? That's why I was giving you a
Because I didn't
weird
hear
look.
what he said. I thought he
But
was
you
just,
said yes?
I thought he said what I said. I thought he said, does this win
Please never
eliminate this? I don't remember what I just thought he was saying it in a negative point.
Listen, at least Brown got a win. Like, that's something for
I mean,
some
Cairo
sort of
too,
celebration.
Dude. Cairo too, like longer field goal, like more tense situation, if I may say so. He came through, man. That's solid.
He kicked it a lot better.
Yeah.
I'll tell
He
you
really
that.
didn't. Did you actually watch it?
I saw no, but the
It
kick
It
was
was
actually
so
a lot.
low.
It was low, but it was still like a higher like.
But it was to
And
the right.
It was
of-
yeah. Okay,
It was
so
a
you,
little.
yeah, you
it
saw
was
that.
almost
Yeah.
blocked.
Okay, listen, we're not gonna talk about that.
And
But it was a little bit better. It was a little bit of an improvement.
And it barely went in.
No, it didn't.
No,
really. It cleared. It could have gone for 53, 54.
What?
That's not saying much, but yeah,
I
he
don't
made
get
it.
it.
That's all that matters.
But like,
And he's
compared to
probably going to be our
31
field goal kicker next year.
Is he?
He-
I don't know.
I think so.
There'll be competition. I think. If
No, I don't think so. It doesn't
No?
benefit the
We
Bears
have
to have another kicker.
too many
Yeah.
holes.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
like,
need to-
I don't think they're like signing a big name kicker, but they'll probably bring another.
But there's
like,
no point of firing him and signing a rookie.
You can't just go out and
undrafted or
sign
anything
big
like
name
that. Yeah.
kickers. It's not a thing.
No, I don't think they're signing a big name kicker. But if you look at Cade from fucking Detroit Lions, he was literally on the CFL. They picked him up, and now he's kicking 60-yarders to win the
Jake.
game.
Jake.
Yeah, last name is Cade, right? Cade. That's
No.
all I remember. Last name is Jake. I'm
Listen,
sorry.
It's Jake.
all I'm saying is
something.
his after that block, he's seemed to have gotten into a little rhythm. He seems to have gotten some of his groove. It's a game-winning kick in Lambeau. You can't really say a lot of kickers for the Bears team have done that in their career. So that's enough for at least one more year.
I fucking like when they fumbled the ball and like Packers were driving. I was like, I have seen this story way too many times to know what happens. But god damn it, we came back.
I saw the
God damn it.
replay of the last drive because the NFL posted it, which I thought was kind of interesting that they're just posting the last drive of stuff. There was a chance Caleb could have spiked with 0 seconds left, which I thought would have been fucking hilarious. But they
Wasn't
designed
a chance.
though there was, but it's the play that the way that they ran the play, everyone was already ahead as soon as the ball was thrown, which is very nice to see.
Also, like it seems
It's the
like
stupidest
LaFleur.
comment I've ever heard you
What do
say.
you mean? We suck at spiking the ball.
There is a chance, but
There
because
was a chance.
everybody was on time
Yes.
and the lineman made it to the line,
Yes.
they did it in time
Yes.
with like 2 seconds left. But there was a chance.
Okay, Miller, you damn well know that if Caleb got there and he was waiting on a lineman and we lost, it's not Caleb's fault. The lineman didn't get there in
It's
time.
Caleb's.
It wouldn't have been Caleb's fault. That would have been the lineman's fault.
So again, props
But
to
hang
them.
on.
But there's a
Hang on.
chance all the time. So to say
no,
there is a
not like
chance.
that. Not
But
like that.
did you guys
Fucking
see?
chance. There's a chance it was
We
tipped at
literally
the line, an interception.
No,
Caleb literally
guys.
proved that he can't do it against the Lions, so of course I can bring it up. He didn't do it against the Lions. Wasted 30 plus seconds. All right, continue, Boopin.
No,
He
no,
didn't.
no.
We're not gonna bring this back up.
No,
And your
again, like I
idiotic
said,
points.
we don't clarify or change minds, so we double and triple down. That's what we do. Anyway, LaFleur had a flush movement where he like called a timeout, which probably helped us have enough time to kick the field goal. I don't know if you guys noticed that. It was like third down, he was deciding to go for it or kick the field goal. He called a timeout there. I don't know if you guys noticed on the Packers drive before they kicked the field goal. That helped save some time, I think, for us to kick the field goal. Even in the post game conference, he was like, "I probably should have called the timeout." He admitted. So like,
I mean, I don't
thought
think
that was,
that's
like,
a big deal.
I think he gave us like 20 seconds.
Yeah, but I've seen coaches do that, and it's like
It's
they
a big
could've-
play for them, so they want to talk it over. So.
Yeah, like when you have the ball and you have downs to waste to do something like that, like I don't mind it if you're in the offense.
I think it was fourth down though. I don't think that.
But you're not playing. But here's what I'm saying: you're not playing offense. You're not playing offense in that scenario to take more time away from the Bears. You're trying to play to score more points so that.
But wasn't it
the
like
Bears is
also?
difficult.
Wasn't it like 4th and 4?
It was like fourth down play. They called.
I think it was
timeout.
really. I think it was
I'd call it
4th and
timeout.
short though.
Yeah,
But I mean,
think
it all depends on how much time is left. To Boopin's
Right.
point,
I mean-
like he
But
could have
like-
let it.
but-
I
but
don't.
what I'm
He
saying
could have
though,
let
Miller,
it
is
fall.
I'm
away all
not
the way
calling
down.
a timeout because, or I'm not like thinking about it because oh my god, we got to hurry so that the Bears have less time. Like I don't think any team looks at it that way.
What? That's game management 101. Why would
No, it
you
is
think of
not.
that?
If you have the
You don't
ball,
want the other team to get the ball. That's what I'm saying.
Boopin, but you have the ball, so like you're making
It's
a call to
fourth
see.
down.
Right, you wanted to rush the play.
But it's not rushing the play. In Boopin's scenario, I don't know if it's true or not. He's saying there was like 20 seconds. It was ticking down on 4th down. He called a timeout, which theoretically we would have got the ball back with 30 something seconds. I don't know how true that is.
Go
But-
look it up.
That's what.
Anyway, I thought it was that like he's usually on top of it in those things. He just looked odd that he was like kind of like like flustered or like flushed in the moment. I don't know. That reminded me of the losses we had this season. That stood out to me. But now, since there's no more games and Bears are in the off season, there's no playoffs for us to talk to. Let's talk what's next for the Bears.
You're just not even going to talk
You're-
about the
you're-
game?
You're not even talking about the game. Listen, Boopin, the
about the game.
timeout was called with 58 seconds on a 4th and 4. That's fine. Because at
But
that point,
it doesn't matter if the timeout. It
Right.
matters how much time could have come off the clock. Is what
right,
he's
but
saying.
but what I'm saying though is if they were going to say, well, listen, we don't want to give them the opportunity, but I want to either decide, are we going to go for a kick or are we going to go for the 4th so that we waste more time? I would use that timeout to have that discussion. That's what I'm
Instead
saying.
of wasting 25 seconds at least and giving the Bears back like the ball with like 30.
If I get a first down in that scenario, it's not going to matter because I'm going to spike it anyway.
You didn't. They kicked the field goal.
Yeah, but we're talking 20. It's hindsight right now. What I'm saying is, if you're in
But
that
if
mentality,
you went for it, I probably would have excused it. The fact that like it's kind of like Bears
either way
going-
though, they still got points. If they
Did-
weren't for it, if they went for it,
Yeah, you're not missing. You're not
You're
getting
not-
the point,
you're-
Chris.
no. What I'm saying though is, if you're in
Okay,
that
wait,
scenario
wait,
and you
wait.
want to talk, hold on, let me finish. What I'm saying is, if you're in that scenario where you want to talk to the guys and you want to say, hey guys, we either go for it or we're gonna kick it. So what you're saying is, oh, because he called the timeout there, he saved the Bears 22nd. What I'm saying is, if you flip that decision and he went for it and gets the 4th down, the timeout's irrelevant.
But he
'Cause they would've-
didn't.
He didn't go for it.
Right, because it's hindsight. That's what I'm trying
No,
to
no,
tell
no.
you.
Like if you call a timeout, you better either run the ball, take whatever seconds off, like that's what I would have done. That's what I'm saying. Like think of it this way: the clock must have been running, right? That's why this whole thing is in play. Why he called a timeout. So it's
Yeah.
fourth down. Clock is running. You said 58 seconds. Let's say they don't, right? They let the clock run down and do the same thing. Call a timeout with 3 seconds left. That is still they could do all this. They could kick the field goal. They could go for fourth down. Call a timeout. Take a delay game. They could do all that shit.
They would
But
put themselves out of field goal range though.
or take a timeout with 1 second
Because if
left
they
and
were
still.
so like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm fine with it because either decision that would have
You
been
would have
made
killed
anyway.
Flus if you did that. I don't know what
No.
you're talking about.
Yes, he
dude.
would have. Yeah, I don't know.
No.
I don't know why you're defending him. I mean, I'm not seeing anything of how much time was on the clock, so I can't commit to like. Oh,
So
it would have been 20
according
seconds
to
left.
ESPN, they were on a no huddle from second and third down. Third down was snapped at 105 seconds, and then the timeout was called at 58 seconds.
Was it a running play?
It was it looks like he was either a running play or a pass play for -2 yards.
Okay.
So
So-
they were in bounds.
So they would have, yeah. So then he would have lost 30 more seconds. If it was our team, you would have ripped him a new one. Absolutely would have.
I don't understand.
I think in the position that I'm saying where you're only down by one, I don't see it being a big deal.
Oh, you don't want the other team to get the ball back, right? Like that's why
You just wasted
Either-
30 seconds.
Because I'm assuming the Bears had no timeouts at that point too, right?
And we had one timeout, so we would have used our timeout.
Yeah, so it wouldn't have mattered.
It would have
And
because we used the timeout
To kick
on
the
the
field
next
goal.
drive. No, not to kick the field goal.
No, not
But-
to kick the field goal.
But during that drive, we used. Regardless, let's move on. But let's focus on this game. Come on. Caleb was, he was fair. He did what he needed to do in crunch time, and that's like the biggest takeaway that we have this season is because he's led.
Yeah,
I
you
think
got something right here, Miller.
I think you got 5 or 6 game-winning drives that he's quote unquote led, many of which haven't come to fruition.
So
3 or
you're
4.
saying
3 or
he's
4?
gotten 4 or 5 game-winning drives that haven't won the game.
Correct. Not due to his fault.
That's
Correct.
That's so fucking dumb. But all right, go ahead, continue.
It's
Didn't
the
you
truth.
want him to throw like 25 or 30 touchdowns this season?
I was hopeful.
Yeah, how many he threw?
Yeah, he threw 20.
Yeah, not good enough. Next.
20 and 6, 3 and 1 TD interception ratio. Not good enough.
Next. Nope.
for a rookie quarterback.
Oh,
I
it's
don't know if
fucking,
that's
it's
that bad.
fucking hilarious. The hate. But hey, at the beginning of the year, if you told me that Caleb threw for 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, I'm taking it every day. I mean, it hasn't been the prettiest, obviously, but the dysfunction in this organization is clear, and you just hope it doesn't continue moving forward, but it might. But this game, I was sitting on my Peloton, I was doing a ride watching, and I got Carter just looking at me as I'm screaming and swearing on the fucking bike. And he's just like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Football, bro, football." I'm just like, "You can't do this to me again, you fucking team." As I have DJ Moore fumbling a ball, I'm like, "You're a fucking loser." Stevenson, he played a decent game, but at the end, like, he's going for an interception behind the wide receiver. How stupid are you, man? Just knock the fucking ball down. Just like so many fucking mental errors to end this game. They were just giving it to the Packers, and yet Caleb finds a way to get the job done with his play to DJ Moore. That was just a thing of beauty with 10 seconds left to run and execute that. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, they might have not been able to do it." No, it was executed to perfection. Everybody knew what was happening. It was perfect.
Yeah, like we ran the ball, even though we were not very decent, we kept up with it. 20 times ran the ball. DeAndre Swift had 65 yards and a touchdown.
I thought he did better than that, to be honest. Maybe he just had some little chunk plays and really short ones.
Yeah, but like I like that we kept running the ball. I read that we have run the ball 20 times or more with DeAndre Swift twice, and we have won both games. I don't know what that says about our team, but I thought that was a pretty cool stat to see.
Chris probably loved this game. It was probably 70% screens. It was fantastic to watch. I'm not gonna lie.
That's why I'm just like meh. Yeah, this game was meh.
Yeah.
Like what was our coordinator that loved the screens? He would have been very proud
All of them.
It seems like all of them. Wasn't it Getsy though? Isn't that the one you're thinking of?
Yeah, Getsy. Fucking, that was the first joke on the internet I saw. It's like Luke Getsy would be very proud of the Bears. DJ Moore came through, 9 for 86 and a touchdown, clutch catches, a bunch of them. that fumble. I don't know. If we had lost the game, I don't know if I would forgive him, but he can be a diva. But like, man, when he comes through, I think he's a heck of a player for the Bears.
I don't think he's a diva.
He came through pretty like some of the games. At least
He
something
shows
was
his
off.
emotion on his sleeve to an extent during the game. You can see his frustration, but he's not like a vocal
Sounds like a
diva,
diva.
like Tyreek Hill. He doesn't come out and say, I need the ball or I want the ball. He's not that type
Would
of
you be
diva.
mad if he did that though?
Yes, that's a diva.
I wouldn't.
Okay. I don't know what to tell you. If you want a fucking head case on your team, you
We
can
have
go
a head case. It's
get
in.
Antonio Brown. He's not a head case. What has he
It's not-
done?
He looks
How-
so disinterested. I don't know. There was a couple of videos. I think, and TikTok is such a fantastic like.
It's awesome. Let's take a screenshot in the worst possible way and let's post it and just make a reaction to it. Yeah, it's fantastic.
I mean, that's what happened to Caleb. He started asking for. I heard he called Watson to find out what's a great place for massages because he was leaning so much on it when he was in pain. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like this game was just like, don't give
We
me
won
hope.
Okay, that's good. We won in Lambeau in a long time. I feel like we can't.
But the game meant nothing. The game meant nothing.
that's-
What do you mean it meant nothing?
It meant nothing.
Would you have said the same thing had we lost?
Yes, because I picked them to get blown out. Remember, it meant nothing. I even said I'm happy that the coach got a win, but that's not even still a good stat. Like he got one win in Lambeau is not going to be enough to save his job. Like that's
No,
what I'm
but
saying.
it was actually nice to hear someone have a victory speech other than Eberflus.
It was very nice.
I mean, it's a big win. I understand that the rivalry with Green Bay hasn't been very. It's been very one-sided.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, they had something to play for. We didn't, and we executed. Yes, you can say Love got hurt. Injuries happen. It did. I mean, they benched Josh Jacobs for some reason. Obviously, it wasn't a huge thing, but it's not like the Redskins were blowing out the Cowboys. I mean, they won on the last second. Commanders were blowing out the Cowboys. They won on the last second touchdown. So they were fighting over the 6th and 7th spot. Whether they valued it that much, they were probably still trying, and we beat them.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say.
Chris,
go ahead, Boopin. Sorry.
Think of how many Week 18 chances Bears have to keep the Packers off the playoffs, and whatever.
We've
and
never had that though.
What are you talking about? We at least remember two games.
Yeah, but I sent it to you guys in the group chat. The whole having the last game of the season be a division thing is just recent.
No, but I think we have, maybe it's a rivalry that's old, but we have played them. I think at least recently.
Are you saying in recent years that it's okay? I get I get that.
Fields, I think
he was close to winning a couple. Yeah, I think
I think he had one game at the end of the year where had we won, they would have probably not made the playoffs or something.
I think it was the year before. Was it year 2, Miller? If I'm thinking right, because it wasn't 3.
Yeah, it could have been. That kind of makes sense.
I think it was 2.
But my point was, we always fucking choke. We always end up dead, and they always beat us, especially in Lambeau. I don't know, they beat us at home too. But I feel like this was so fucking sweet. I know they're still in the playoffs and we're not, but just the fact that we won in Week 18 against them just makes it sweet.
It's nice. It's nice. It's just, but it's just meh,
I was ecstatic.
I think for me it was just more
we haven't won since Week 4.
I think that's what made it more. If you look the way that you explain it that way, I would have been like, okay, yeah, that's. I'm glad the streak is not going into the following year, kind of thing.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, I think that would have hurt more than just us saying we lost against the Packers. It's the fact that we couldn't get a win.
The bottom line is you have to be impressed with the rookie quarterback.
Huh.
He does it. He plays when it matters.
And special teams.
Well, no, he obviously doesn't. We had 4 wins at the time he was playing, so it didn't fucking matter. But, and I'm not saying that as a negativity thing. I'm just saying he's still going to play the game.
He's losing by a lot in most of those games. But when it matters in the fourth quarter, he comes up. He plays.
He lost 6-3 to the Seahawks. So many points there.
It was just rainy and cold. You were probably under your
fucking 3.
You were probably in your bed under your blanket.
Well, whatever. Listen, I'm just saying, happy for all those Caleb supporters. You guys finally have something to actually be happy about. That we got to win in Lambeau, so now it's 20,000 days that I don't have to worry about that. Like pulling up
Yes.
random fucking stats that don't matter.
Hey,
You're right.
you're the king of that.
Yards thrown, touchdown to interception ratio, quarterback rating, all things that don't matter.
Nope, doesn't matter when you only had 4 wins and 5, including this
wins.
one.
5
Hey,
wins.
Doesn't
hey,
matter.
Chris, what's the one stat that Mitch owns the Bears in? Like he leads the Bears in that record.
Accuracy.
Yeah, one stat. Yep.
But
Good
he's
stuff.
notice he's number 1 in
I
a
know,
stat
but
of all-time QBs, not just
all
rookie
time.
QBs.
Wow, that's fascinating.
That's a
One
difference.
stat, though. One stat though, right?
It's 1.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
I could find multiple stats that Caleb led this year.
this year. I'm saying
No,
all
no, Chris,
time.
Miller,
I
if
know
you-
all time. This
Go
year.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll find it.
I'm pretty sure the interception one is pretty high up there. But anyway, okay. That was the overall game. It was like special team showed up. That's what I wanted to say. We had a touchdown, like a trick kick return touchdown. We haven't seen much of those this year.
Didn't we almost blow it? Like, didn't we have like a bunch of penalties in the last drive too, or something like that?
They had penalties.
Yeah.
I don't know if we did. Like, I think the biggest touch and go point for me was the DJ Moore fumble. I thought the game was over. I thought they would do the right thing and run down the clock, kick a field goal to end the game. Didn't work out that way, and I was like fascinated by it. And the fact that it was very lucky. Like them calling the timeout, us getting a horse collar, like
The
a lot
horse
of
collar was
things-
huge.
yeah, like a lot of things had to go our way, but finally something broke for us. It's been breaking against us all season. That was good to see too. But yeah, I think I'm not saying hey, job well done, everybody go home, but it was like a good I don't know, it was a good feel good win at the end of the season. I'm not saying job well done again, but again, I'm very happy that they won in week 18. All right, moving
Cheers
on.
to that.
Fellas. Moving on. Let's talk about the Bears. We're not in the
Okay, I got
postseason.
nothing.
We're not
Didn't
in the
do
postseason.
anything.
Look at the agenda. There's enough there. Like we looks
No
like
one's paid attention to the agenda. It's so funny.
it's like a pretty good agenda. I think.
Listen, I don't blame. I'm not even saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying like the fact that we just did not even look at it is what
I
is
did.
cracking me
Speak
up.
for yourself, bro.
You did, and you don't even know where he's gonna go into next.
Yes, I do.
Oh,
I see
okay.
it on the agenda. Okay. We saw the press conference. Looks like Mr. Poles is staying for the short / long term. Thoughts are, everyone's like, expendable, right? If he has another shitty season, he's gone. But if he has a decent season, he
But
may
God,
stick
okay,
around.
this is what I don't understand. Everybody says that, but you can't judge a GM off of one offseason.
I know, but we are so reactive these days, Miller. Like, fuck, like
The league is reactive too. Like if you look at the firings.
I know.
Is it? Is
no,
it?
not this year.
The
Chris, that was
GMs
the
have not
difference.
been fired.
Yes, that's what I was going to
No,
say. Even
but
the
what I'm
coaches.
saying-
Only
the
one
coaches,
GM
though.
has been fired.
But the coaches being fired the way they've been
Two
no,
GMs.
no, no,
fired.
no,
Two
no.
GMs.
Okay. Giants survived. Who's the
Did you
Bengals
really
survived.
think that they were going to fire? Wait, who are we talking about?
Yes.
Coaches or GMs?
Both.
Either or. Like
the
Giants
only
got rid of-
surprise firing is realistically the Patriots. I mean, you can-
Supposedly he was a dead man walking like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
the
I thought
reason he
Pierce was
won the-
also a surprise.
But it's surprise in the sense that he's only been on the team for 1 year.
1 year. Yeah.
Okay. Like if you're on a team for 2+ years and you suck, the expectations are you could get fired. Like the GM from the Titans, you can say is maybe another little surprise, but other than that, everything was kind of expected.
And like the reason this Black Monday was not as black, I think, is because people are trying to look at they are not trying to be that reactive, but the fan bases, man, they call for their heads. You have 2 bad games and they're like fucking fire everybody, and we are that way too. I'm not saying we're better than them, but like I think again, I'm saying I want him to, and Miller and I talked about it. We talked about it. We want him to be tied to either Caleb or the coach that comes in, see it through. Hopefully that he gets to do that. But I'm just saying because I know how things will go. If he has another crappy season, I feel like we'll call for his head again. I hope he's here for the long term. But I just want to get his.
I mean, you're probably right. Whether it happens or not, who the fuck knows? I mean, if they go 5-11 again, probably. But
Like
that's
5-12.
But the thing is, like, the thing that frustrates me with these fucking contracts is we never get to hear what the contract is of the GM. Like, if they extended him, which I think is my expectation, maybe not. But maybe they won't.
I saw a rumor out there that maybe they extended him when Caleb was drafted, like to kind of get them in the same.
Well, the
I mean,
extensions-
same premise.
we hear about extensions. We may not hear it right away, but usually it
No,
comes
we
out
don't.
sooner than-
We don't ever hear about the contracts of our coaches or GMs.
I feel like
It's
usually
all
when they're
guesswork.
But one name to look out for is like our assistant GM. I think he's on the move. He's like supposedly a hot name in the GM circle. Ian Cunningham.
Yeah,
he
he's
might
been
be
out there for a few years, and if he actually goes to a team, we get 2 third-round picks.
I heard we get draft picks too. But
Yeah,
he's supposedly someone to look out there. But any thoughts on Paul staying? Happy, sad, right thing to do at this time?
What was our discussion of like the last time when we talked about this? We were kind of just we understood if he was going to get fired or if he just like Miller said that he wasn't going to resign, which he's right. It doesn't look like we got the resignation or anything like that, but it does look like, given what I read, because I did not get a chance to watch the I did not get a chance. Yeah, I did not, but I know Miller was heavily watching it, so it's not like the press conference that we watched last time where you can kind of clearly see some
It was a very selected way of being different than that. He was the only one on the podium, right? Like
he was the only one that had a true presser.
Yeah.
So Miller, since you saw that, what would you say? And then I'll answer your question, Boop, and not to not answer, but I kind of want to hear Miller's opinion on that press conference compared to the famous one that we keep.
He was just very. He doesn't sound like okay. As much as Thomas Brown wasn't like great as far as winning games, when he talks at the microphone, he talks, right? Like he talks like a man. Like Poles doesn't talk like a man. Like he's just up there answering the questions, politically correct bullshit, the answers that we could write. Like it wasn't anything like demonstrative saying like, oh, I did this, this, and this. Like the biggest one that stands out to me is when they asked, like there were two questions that was asked. One along the lines of Caleb Williams went through a season that was crazy and he had a lot of issues. And Poles is like, well, what was crazy about it and what were the issues? Like, really, dude? Like, it's pretty clear what the fucking issues were. He got sacked 68 times and he had 3 offensive coordinators. Like, you don't have to be a genius there. And then the other time was the question, like, what could you have done better with the offensive line? And he comes out and he's like, well, now, see, I'm going to explain it this way. Like, it wasn't only the offensive line. It was collectively with the offensive line, the quarterback who admitted that he had some issues, and then the running back. Like, he just, like, again, it goes back to the fucking accountability. Take some fucking accountability. You knew the question was coming. You couldn't have come up with a better answer than to blame it on 2 other parts. Like, just make the fact of, like, at this time, what we did is we brought in some pieces. We thought they were going to be more cohesive. They had some injuries. It led to some issues. Yes, we could have done better. And our goal this year is to do better for Caleb. Something like that. You don't have to fucking throw your QB under the bus, even though, I mean, obviously he admitted it already, but it was just stuff like that. Like, it was just, blah.
I think when I saw that and I saw the group chat kind of go back and forth, I'm like, he's not wrong, but it's a right time and place to say those commentaries. I don't think you say it at the end of the year presser.
Well, you don't say it, period.
No,
Yeah,
you could say it. You can say it.
You take it in-house for the most part.
You take responsibility.
Okay,
you
but
put the
it's
offensive
18
line
but it's
together. You're the one that
games.
put the running back room together. So
but you're putting that with the expectation of the goals that you set. Like Poles couldn't do anything different in 18 weeks. So like, yeah,
What?
Poles can't do anything different for 18 weeks. Like as soon as
Exactly. That's the point.
Right.
So he made this roster, and the roster was not good enough.
But the roster was winning at the beginning of the year.
What does that matter?
Are you kidding me? What do you mean? What does that matter?
So because we're winning at the beginning of the year, the roster is deemed to be okay.
No.
But because we didn't win at the end of the year, it's
See, what I'm saying, you're making it seem like, well, this is the roster, this is the record that you could have gotten. What I'm saying is, at the beginning of the season, before the Fail Mary, they had a winning record. So, like, from a GM perspective, you could say, well, it wasn't. It's right. It wasn't. It might not be the full best product that's out there, but it's still something that's working. Now you can then say every decision after the Fail Mary, where you went for the firing and stuff like that started a downward trend. Yes, you did. Like
I was talking about the offensive line.
But that's what I'm saying. The offensive line, from the time that he put it together in the first half of the season, was doing fine because they were winning. And winning cures everything at that moment.
No, I see. Chris, I agree with you in this regard that we're winning, right? And I think it's hard to like change on a pivot. Like we were already expecting to like be on the fringe playoff,
right?
To like be away from it. We were winning, and now like you don't make bold moves at that point, right?
Right.
Do you guys remember the talk that we had in the first 6 weeks? Like they were winning, but we were still talking about the offensive line.
But it was enough that got him wins, is what I'm saying. Like that.
This is what the fucking problem is with you right now. The wins and losses aren't everything. They don't determine the picture. You can sit here and say, no, they don't.
We talked about it. We even said that if Flus got close to 500, do you keep him? We all said yes.
I mean, congratulations. It's fine. But like wins and losses do not give you the entire picture. Like when we were at the beginning of the year, there were multiple games that Swift had 40 yards rushing because the offensive line play was trash. Just because they win games doesn't mean that the offensive line is great.
Again,
you have to look at the overall product.
Right, but we're not saying the offensive line was great.
That's literally what I was talking about. I was talking about Ryan Poles' explanation of his offensive line choices. And you said, well, at the beginning of the year, they were 4-2.
They were
so they were fine.
And they were winning. Yes, it was fun. It was.
That's not how this works.
Yes, it is. Because what could he have done different? What could he have done different in the first couple weeks, though? That's what I'm trying to say.
It doesn't matter in season. He makes the decisions. He makes the fucking decisions to put this team together week 1. He made the decision to get Coleman Shelton on this team. He made the decision to trade a 5th round pick for Ryan Bates. He made a decision to keep the Braxton Jones, the left tackle. These are his decisions. He has to live with it.
Wait. Now we're complaining about Jones and Shelton too?
Yeah, that's what I'm
complaining about the entire offensive line. I'm just saying it wasn't good enough. Do you think it was good enough?
No,
but it's enough to get you 4 wins out of 6 games. What do you mean?
Okay, I'm not going to win this argument. That's fine.
You're not, because you're wrong. But that's what I'm just trying to say. No, I'm not
wrong. But
what
sure,
I was trying to
we can go. We can, if you want to go listen to all our podcasts, week 1 through 6, where we complain about the offensive line. We can do that.
We can.
But if you want to make it irrelevant, like that's fine.
Have my back, which is a first. Go ahead.
I think we're talking about 2 different things. You were saying here's how the presser went. You want him to take on accountability. Chris and I are saying, what else could he have said? What else could he have done?
I literally laid out what he could have said and what he could have done.
No, but like what we are practically
But that would have been the fakest answer that you hate.
You would probably hate it more. Yeah,
you would hate it more.
If he came out and said, this is what we did, these were the decisions we made, it wasn't good enough, we should have done more, I wouldn't have liked that answer.
Yes, you would have hated that.
Okay, sure.
Because then you're going to say, well, no shit.
Okay, it's better than, well, let's say, well, it wasn't totally my fault because I put this group together, but at the end of the day, the quarterback had input and issues and the running back had issues, which, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it's wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
But what he's doing, which I can't believe you guys are actually letting him slide on this, he's saying it wasn't my fault, it's everybody's fault.
And he's right.
No, I mean, to an extent, but he's the one that put the fucking team together. So if the running back doesn't block correctly, then get a new running back. If the line doesn't block good enough.
See right there. That's that right there. If the running back doesn't block, right? When does that GM make that move? If
At the beginning of the year, his choice. Roshan Johnson's been on this team for a while. DeAndre Smith has tape, or DeAndre Swift has tape out there. You should know how they can block. It's your decision to keep him on the team and not bring in someone else. I understand your point that he can't make moves in season, but at the beginning of the year, he knows everybody that's on his fucking team.
But
You know that we have the bottom 3 in salary spent on offensive line. Hey,
Okay,
we started 4-2. Whoop-de fucking do. Caleb had great games. Swift had great games. But you know what? We ended 5-11, and the offensive line is trash. So if you want to hold your head because the first 6 weeks they played maybe okay, kind of some games, then fine.
But that's what
even though the first game,
not,
the offensive didn't do shit.
But
like,
the GM,
okay.
the GM can't make those calls during the season. It's up to the coach's responsibility to make those moves during the season. Like what
do you mean make moves? There's no moves to make. The GM gives you the team.
Right. And the coach is like, all right, we got to put this guy here, put this guy here. And that's what I'm saying. When he's saying it's between everyone, I'm agreeing with that statement more than it's just him.
It's a cop-out answer. It's him not taking accountability. He never takes accountability for anything. That's what it is. And I can't believe you're defending him for it. You're just defending him because he's including Caleb. It's the only reason why you're defending him.
No. Like, I see your point. And like, I think we have the same issue with Flus when he was just saying like, hey, he was not taking.
Flus was literally rinse and repeat, and we hated it.
Yes, because no one in this organization takes accountability for their actions. And that's literally what he did.
But even Flus in one of the pressers, like, yeah, I got to do better.
Okay.
And you even
Chris,
said,
your turn.
Shit, you got to do better.
Okay, Chris, your turn. He's staying for the short, long term. What are your thoughts?
I don't think there was ever going to be a right answer for polls. I honestly still wished he would have just resigned to just make it easier. But like,
I love that you went from your last spiel to that.
No, but what I'm saying though, Miller, is like we went. But what was the right answer? If you fired him, we would have been okay with it. If you keep him, we would have been okay with it. It's like there would have been no wrong answer. I feel like if he decided to leave and go back to Kansas City or something like that, like we could have been like, all right, great. We now have an opportunity that has a new GM, a new head coach, and a quarterback that will all be tied for the next 5 years. Right now, you now have the GM and the QB that's going to be tied together. I'm really intrigued what the head coaching position is going to be. But like
you can see the difference with his head on the line. He's calling motherfuckers from Iowa to like get a head coaching interview. This was not the case last year.
Yes, it was. Okay, why are you talking about last year? We weren't dealing with head coaches last year. We were doing offensive coordinators. We did the same thing in 2021. It wasn't this extensive, but we still had 9-10 people come in for head coaching gigs. The problem was it was ran by the guy from the Colts, the old GM from the Colts, and George McCaskey. It was ran by them. They determined that those 3 finalists, Dan Quinn, Eberflus, and whoever the fuck else it was, they were the 3, and then polls got to choose from them. We still ran a coaching search. This is obviously more by a few, but like we still did an extensive search. It just wasn't done by our GM at the time.
One thing that just came into my head about what we were talking about with the polls answers, and then we'll go back to your point, Boobin, because I think it's a valid point. If you look at a team that had really bad offensive line play and then in a season was able to turn it around with the same players because they changed the scheme is Tampa. So the fact that they were able to make that big of a jump and to have one of the top 5 offensive line in run games, I think it was something like that, and they had the same exact players from last year. That's what's leading me to say that if you have the same players and the coaches are obviously, we had different coaches and all that, so that's an irrelevant point. But if we had stayed with everything and they could have come up with a better scheme, we might have had better offensive line play. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of that answer of what he says, even though you don't like it, I'm fine with it.
But isn't this Tampa line have elements from like when Tom Brady won the like? I'm sure the left tackle is the same guy. I'm pretty sure,
but not all 5 from last season, though. Is what I'm saying. This is the same exact O-line from last season.
Is it okay?
Yes.
And they were fine last season. I don't think they were terrible.
They
made the playoffs. They were playoffs.
They were bottom like last 5. Yeah, I think they were like last 5.
Not with Baker,
Okay.
was it?
You can ride next year with Nate Davis as your right tackle or right guard, Chris. It's all you, bro.
Listen.
I'll stick to getting 4 new offensive linemen, but if you want to hold your hat on having
You can
Colvin
get
Shelton and having all of your guys,
you can get 4 brand new. You can sign $100 million contracts to each of these 4 linemen. If the scheme is awful, they're going to suck anyway, so it's irrelevant.
okay, fine. I mean, I maybe, probably not though, because offensive line scheme isn't as important
hang
as
on.
talent.
So 2023, Tampa Bay lost in the divisional round.
Yeah, what was their run defense? I think it's run defense or run offense.
Last year they had Rashad White. They didn't. I don't think Bucky Irving was there, but I
I'll
can
take a
check.
look.
But
I got you.
I'm pretty sure the left tackle is still from when Brady days. I am pretty sure about that.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
there isn't a lot of scheme on the offensive line. It's more so reading a blitz and making adjustments. It's not like a defensive scheme and to
In
do all that fun stuff.
2023, the Buccaneers had 1,509 rush yards, which was last in the NFL.
I don't,
That doesn't mean that their line was trash, but sure.
And in 2024, they then had 2,536 in top 4 in rush yards.
Doesn't mean their line's great, but sure. Chris is on a roll tonight.
You're telling me that rushing yards have nothing to do?
Rashad White is more of a pass catcher than he is a rusher.
I mean, Bucky just had the
rush yards.
That's what I just said.
You said no passing.
I know. Rashad White is a better pass catcher than he is a rusher. That was their running back last year.
So all of his yards came from catching? Is that what you're saying?
No, you just said they had 1,500 yards. I'm just saying they didn't have a true running back there is what I'm saying.
But it's the same offensive, so Saquon
and they
Barkley
had a fucking stud rookie that they just drafted.
So Saquon Barkley is just all him in the Eagles?
What are you even saying?
I'm asking about the O-line. Because if that's the case,
I'm just saying you can't judge an O-line based on how many rushing yards you have in a season.
So you got to go to PFF and find out what's their grade of when it's raining at 2:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday, that they get a 9.5 or whatever.
As long as it's after 3 p.m., obviously.
Jesus.
Okay. We are going nowhere in this. Chris, can you answer my question? Any thoughts on polls being kept here?
Like I said, it was damned if we do, damned if we don't. Whatever decision was going to be made, it was either going to be great or bad. I think this was a decision of I don't know.
Okay.
The more I'm trying to talk about it, and I'm just trying to say, if he left or they got fired, it would have been fine. But if they stayed because they want to tie him to Caleb for a couple of years, I think he will probably have to stay another 3 years now.
Unless he has a really terrible year like we talked about. But talking about the head coaching search, we check with your high school coach. He may have been interviewed by the Bears. We're not sure because that's how wide a net we have cast. We've already, I think, had 2 interviews. Vrabel interviewed. A couple other people are interviewing tomorrow. But this is a very wide list, right? There's we shared a graphic earlier today. Bears offense was one of the worst, least efficient offenses. It looks like they're going for the people on the other quadrant, like the Bills of the world, the Lions of the world.
It's not Caleb's fault.
It's not. That's why we're getting new coaches. But that those looks like those are the teams who are going offensively. From what I've heard, and you guys have probably seen the same news reporting, it seems like they want to see a leader of men type, and the other thing I've heard is a man with a plan for the quarterback are the 2 things that they are looking for in all of these interviews. As I am reading through some of these names, I would love to hear who your favorites are. In the search.
Good question. Okay.
We have the old busted and probably trying to make a comeback, Pete Carroll and Mike Bravel, right? Some of the new up and
You
coming.
just called Vrabel busted?
I don't know. He didn't have a great ending in Tennessee. He was out of NFL last year. I don't know what to call him.
Because he got fucking paid, bro.
Anyway, okay, trying to make a comeback. I'm sorry about the busted part.
Thank you. I was about to say, not Weber getting
Uh,
busted.
some of the up and coming coordinators out there, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson from the Lions. We got the Brian Flores from the defensive coordinator from Vikings. Todd Monken, who's the Ravens offensive coordinator. So we have a lot of impressive names there. Everyone brings their own flair to the team, right? I wanted to see if you guys had an early favorite.
I want to
You
hear
know,
Miller's early favorite because I know he's been watching this very heavily in his Twitter feed.
Is he done with this question?
Yeah. It's
First of all, you're wrong about Tampa. Tampa had a great offensive line last year. Second of all, the favorite
define
is
great.
got to be.
How would wait?
I
Define
haven't got
great.
a number yet, but I've gotten multiple articles sourcing saying that two
Actually,
of their
this-
players were ranked in the
this
top
seems like
five.
No. It
Um,
seems like a pretty good blog post Chris could do on our website. Okay,
but
go
the
on.
favorite has got to be Ben Johnson. It's pretty straightforward. I don't know why you guys are asking me to say the name, but like he's the hot offensive coordinator. But the bottom line is he's led this offense for Detroit for 3 years. He has experience. He's led top 5 offenses for those last 3 years with talent that is superior to ours, no doubt. But the bottom line is he's had success and he's shown that he can run an offense on his own. It's not like he is the head coach breathing over, or he's the backup to the head coach that's calling the plays or running the offense. He's an offensive guy. You need to pair him with Caleb Williams. So ideally we want an offensive guy. Leader of men bullshit. It's so fucking stupid. They say this all the fucking time. Leader of men. They never get it.
When you talk about Ryan Poles and you said he was not a leader of men type, you literally
Yep.
said that earlier
Yep.
in the episode.
Yes, you did.
What did I say?
He said
show the cup. Show the cup.
He doesn't. He said he didn't sound like a leader of men, like when fucking
Oh, yeah, I probably said that.
Thomas
Show the cup
Brown.
though. Show the cup.
It's empty. It doesn't matter. I'm not that
Yeah.
drunk.
yeah.
But I mean, I think they said it back before too that they wanted a leader of men. Like it's all fucking fluff from this organization. But it's got to be Ben Johnson. Vrabel's probably 2 on my list just because he does have a pedigree. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. There's a wash up. Like I mean, he did really well in Tennessee. He led them to the playoffs with Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry, basically. So it's like he has shown that he does have success in the NFL. He just got fired because they did, for whatever reason, Tennessee's dysfunctional and they wanted a change of voice. Which, how did that go?
He's going to New England. We all know that. He's not going.
Okay, fine. If he goes to New England, that's best case scenario for the Bears because everything I'm hearing is either going to New England or the Raiders. And if he goes to the Raiders, Ben Johnson's probably going to New England. So
I think New England might be the team that they were saying like they could overpay for a coach, but I still, depending on what happens with McCarthy, Dallas could also overpay for a head coach.
I think Dallas is keeping McCarthy for sure.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
It's not for sure, but who would want to go to that? Like, as much as our ownership's dysfunctional, at least you don't have to listen to them. Like, I mean, Jerry Jones is a fucking GM and fucking owner. Like, who would want to go there?
Chris, you think if Warren was like fucking looking over Ryan Poles in that fucking have you seen Jerry Jones and McCarthy in a press conference? McCarthy cannot get a word in.
Brother,
Jerry Jones interrupts.
But that's because it's Dallas. Like that's a different beast. Like everyone knows where he's at. When the game is over, people are more interested in talking to Jerry than they are to any coach, and that's been happening for multiple years. So we can't compare that market. If it's almost like saying that when the Bears lose, everyone's waiting to hear what McCaskey's got to say after every game. Like we don't go through that. So I think for me, the more interesting of the coaches that are wanting to getting interviewed or are going to get interviewed, I think Pete Carroll is the one that just like caught me off guard for a bit. And then I thought about it, and someone on TV said he would be a great fit for the Bears because he brings that CEO mentality. And I'm like, see, Miller would love that because CEOs, you know what's the one thing they always do very well? Hold people accountable.
Spoken like a true.
He's not wrong.
True man that's spoken the Kool-Aid.
But he's not wrong.
I think
But-
that was a name that was like, because the other name that I found interesting had nothing to do with the Bears was Rex Ryan back to the Jets. Like,
Stupid. It's just
You-
dumb. It's just these people think that they're fucking entitled to this shit, and it's just so fucking stupid. But
I
the
mean,
thing
like-
is, the thing is
like
with
you said, Miller, there's only 32 positions, and if you've done the job previously, that gives you a leg up on like.
he's
being
been a
able to-
fucking announcer for like 5 fucking years.
that doesn't matter. Jeff Saturday was in ESPN and he got hired as a fucking temp, basically.
for 5 days. Yeah.
Well, and that was how was that taken in the NFL,
Didn't-
Chris? Was
yeah,
that
but didn't he get-
praised? Yeah,
It was
okay.
kind of praised.
That
He got
was
more wins
stupid.
than Brown.
He got laughed out of the fucking building. What are you
He got
talking
2-3
about?
wins, I believe.
He got literally laughed at. It was a disgrace to the fucking Colts organization. Go ask fucking John. It was a joke. The only thing that comes with Pete Carroll is he's fucking 70 fucking 3 or 5 years old. Now you got me fucking swearing so much because it's all the stupid fucking comments and fucking episode.
Okay,
But
my turn.
he's like
my turn.
73, 75 years old. So how long is he going to be here? You really want that in an organization? Like, I mean, you're right. He brings the accountability in that aspect, but I don't want a 73-year-old running this team. We
he
already did
won
that with
with
John
fucking-
Fox. We don't need to do it again.
He won with Russell Wilson, so he could give that man some respect.
But it was great. Like, Seattle was just a great environment. Like, once he was placed in there, like,
Especially that defense, fucking whatever, Legion of Boom. Fuck, I want to see that in the Bears. Why not?
Okay, I just want to remind y'all that we had Seattle's offensive coordinator this year, and how did that work out?
I know. I was thinking about that too, but
Pete Carroll hired him. So just keep that in mind when
he
you
was a
start
quarterback
praising
coach,
people.
whatever he was. Anyway,
I'm not praising. The
No,
question
he wasn't.
was,
He was the offensive coordinator.
the
Okay.
question. The question that Boopin praised us is which one has been the most interesting. That's what the question was. It wasn't who we want.
Yeah.
You went with the basic random answer of Ben Johnson, which everyone is saying
The
Carroll-
question was, who are you interested in?
no.
Not the
I
most
don't know.
interesting.
All right, my turn. You guys are talking too much. I want to see an offensive mind. I was thinking of Joe Brady from Buffalo Bills, mostly because like fucking Josh Allen is like killing it right now. Who knows if it's him or Sean McDermott? But if he's like the quarterback whisperer, because we all remember Josh Allen's first year and like what kind of jump he made second year, third year.
They
was
lost
thinking
that coordinator.
They lost him. It wasn't the one you're thinking of.
Brian Dable was the coordinator when Josh Allen came in.
Okay, so then maybe not Joe Brady. Then I'm thinking of Todd Monken, who's done great things with Lamar right now. I think he was with the other Harbaugh before that, right? So again, he seems to be able to work with different kinds of quarterbacks. Someone who can do that. It's what I'm looking for. I see a lot of defensive people in here, and that scares me a tiny bit. But like those are the people I'm looking for. My question for you guys is like, I was looking into this. Someone posted in like one of the Twitter threads is like any of the coordinators for Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, if they have left the head coach and have gone off on their own, have not done very well. So they were like, is Ben Johnson the new Adam Gase or the new Josh
Nagy?
McDaniel? Matt Nagy, Josh McDaniel. That was the question being posed. I don't know if you guys have. Sorry to put you on the spot, but have you thought of that? Like,
I have,
Yeah.
because one thing to also consider is that for Ben Johnson to come to Chicago being the hot, commodity or whatever word you want to put, he has to be willing to come to Chicago. And given the dysfunction that we've been showing, do coaches really want to come here? And if that's the case, if they're willing to put up with the dysfunction, how much money is it going to cost for them to come here? So
he's not going to be cheap. Yeah, for sure.
No, even in general, if let's say like the highest paid, I'm just talking out of my ass, but let's just say the highest number that a coach is going to get paid is like 20 a year. If Ben Johnson wants to come to Chicago and he's like, listen, I know the bullshit you guys are putting up with, you're going to have to pay me 30. Like that might be a possible, not those numbers obviously, but him being able to say like, no, like
He asked for 10 last year, so just go with 10.
Okay, 10. Like if I'm going to go to Chicago, it's going to be like 16. Like, do we really think that that's going to work out? We don't know.
The better question is if McCaskey's willing to pay 10.
Right. McCaskey's like, listen, we'll give you a BOGO. We'll give you a jewel card.
You'll get $1 million for every game you win.
I like that.
To answer your question, I think a lot of times those coaches try to replicate what Belichick would do, where Belichick was really more the voice and they got to work within that environment. And when they were off on their own, they didn't really have a vision. So I think it's unfair to those coordinators because they came from such a good tree, where if you were to reverse it and you bring in like Sean McVay, that could be probably a little bit better, where those coaches seem to have a bit more success.
Who are you talking about?
The coaches that Tom Brady
Belichick's tree. Was Ben Johnson under Belichick?
No.
Vrabel. Vrabel played. He wasn't under Belichick.
Well, he played, but he saw Belichick, so people still say he's under this tree.
I mean, like Belichick tree is pretty big too. Like the guy from I think what's the coordinator in Minnesota? He may be from
Brian Flores.
I think he may be Belichick.
Flores
tree.
is Belichick, yeah.
Let's see if who else.
I don't know. Is he really Belichick tree? I mean, if you're like a third in line under Belichick, is that really a Belichick tree? I guess it is because he kind of went to Miami as a head coach. So he had some stature, but yeah.
Brian Flores.
We're gonna end up with Brian Flores.
Brian Dable. I don't know who these people are.
Do you guys feel like we need a big swing here, kind of
Joe
coach,
Judge.
like a big name? Like if you're not getting Ben Johnson, do we need a Vrabel or a fucking Rex Ryan or like a Pete Carroll or something? Like
Stop fucking saying Rex Ryan.
Imagine Rex Ryan to the Bears.
Jesus Christ!
But you get what I'm saying, though, Miller. Like, do we need that big name?
I don't know, and I don't.
Yes.
I hope not. I hope we get someone that like, hey Caleb, who do you want? And fucking go get Cliff Kingsbury if that's what he wants. Is what I want.
Oh my God!
If we cannot get him,
imagine Ben Johnson's like, hey Rex, you didn't get the job with the Jets. Come on over back to Chicago.
Let me see. Boopin laid it out. I can't believe you included the offensive coordinator, but I haven't been hearing more than that. But or that was scheduled interviews, fine. But like half this list is fucking a joke.
not really.
I would be happy with like the top 5. Pete Carroll, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel. Those are the guys we should walk away with.
That's 4.
End of the day,
there's 5th.
Why do I need 5? I Michael Kafka, but not probably Joe Brady or Liam Cohen. I don't know, but like
I don't think Liam Cohen's on the list, is he?
Yeah, I think he is now. Maybe not. I don't fucking know. All I know is this: we do need a big name. You need like somebody either with stature or somebody that has led a fucking successful offense in this league.
Or a successful team at this point.
No. Successful offense.
Yeah. It seems like they're asking Ben Johnson to like come up with like, hey, what's your goal going to be for the team? And then the other people are like, what's your quarterback plan? What are you going to do with Caleb is what they're asking. So it'll be interesting regardless.
It goes a lot to what Chris said. Like, does he actually want to come here?
Does any coach really want to come here given what has happened the last 10 weeks?
No. I think Chicago is like, look at what's out there, Chris. It's Jacksonville. Like, there's like no good like Patriots.
Jacksonville is different, but if I was a coach, I would look at
Raiders.
I would look at the Raiders. The Raiders are intriguing. I wouldn't say they're better than the Bears, but they're intriguing. They're intriguing.
How many coaches have they fired in the last 5 years?
3.
How do you win in this league? You have a quarterback. Raiders don't have a quarterback. They're not even in the top 5.
We had a whole discussion about San Francisco, and they made it to the Super Bowl. Like, come on.
They have a quarterback. Come on.
Oh, now he is a quarterback.
He always was one.
Not according to some people. You can't say I'm wrong. The people thought that he was just a game manager. He's not.
They had Jimmy Garoppolo when Kyle Shanahan went there. First of all, so call him your fucking roll.
And where's he now?
It doesn't matter. They had him. He was like the hottest quarterback in the fucking league when they traded for him.
Wait, hottest not in terms of throws, hottest in terms of looks, right?
There we go.
Both.
Gets it. But my thing is like if we're talking like intriguing, the Raiders look good. They have a great tight end.
Why do the Raiders look good? Please explain. Because they have a defensive end and a tight end. That's it.
Yeah. And they're in Vegas.
They're in Vegas. They have a dome. Siegfried and Royd aren't there anymore, but I'm sure they can find other shows.
To me, if you're an offensive guy, you want a quarterback. And they don't have a quarterback. So, I mean, maybe to your point, they want to go pick their quarterback, but it's not like they have the first pick. They're in the
Right.
top 10, so they're gonna have to trade assets to get it, and who knows how that's gonna pan out. And I don't.
I think like it's either New England or us are probably like the best opening right now for the historic nature of the
I would agree with
franchise
that. I would probably
and
say
the
like
opportunity.
Bears is like 1A, New England 1B, and then you have everyone else.
I think it's probably flipped. Most people are saying it's flipped. New
Well, like-
England's number one.
But to think of New England, dude, you're trying to fill fucking Belichick shoes. Like,
No, you don't.
goddamn.
Not Bill Belichick's shoes anymore. Fucking the other guy that got fired. That's who you're feeling. your
Also-
Yeah,
shoes.
Bill
also, like-
Belichick hasn't
Also,
been.
like Vrabel to New England is like basically done deal. I think.
Yeah, I have heard that, which makes me excited because they're saying that if that's the case, Ben Johnson will probably come to Chicago.
I don't agree with that.
Where do you
Okay.
think he's gonna go? Oh, you think Raiders?
Raiders.
Either Raiders, I could see Jacksonville wanting to throw money on top of it.
Supposedly
But
that
Jacksonville-
GM is.
Well,
that
we
GM
say
is
I know you guys
horrible.
joke. I know you guys
No, no.
joke with me about the whole lame duck situation, but the Jacksonville situation is what kind of caught me off guard. Like that's where you kind of would have to bring in a big coach like to just keep your job if you're GM there.
Well, he's
Same here.
supposedly-
But that's what I'm
There's-
saying. That's what I'm saying. So like, you really want to spend summers in fucking or winters in Chicago, or do you want to go to Jacksonville? I mean, you get more money.
Wait,
in
wait,
Do you
Jacksonville.
want to go to be an irrelevant 32nd team in the league, or do you want to go to the third biggest market in the league?
The
Do you
third
wanna go
biggest
live
market
at-
meant nothing to the Bears.
I mean,
It
do you want to
still
go
is.
live in
It's- it's
But it
London?
doesn't mean
fact.
anything.
Do you want to
It's a
go live
fact.
in London for like half a year?
That's true. I mean,
That's
you're not
the-
wrong, but what I'm saying, like, this is what I hated when people bring up the whole like third market. The third market has done nothing for the Bears for the last 20 years. Nothing. So why do we keep bringing it up?
They still fucking sell out every game.
I was
dude.
gonna
Like,
say,
Sell
it
out
puts
because of the
fans
fucking
in seats.
PSLs. Yeah, the PSLs. Well, everyone knows that too. Like, come on,
It
guys.
puts fans in the seats. Jacksonville, you go down there, you got fucking half of stadium filled.
yeah, they have a fucking swimming pool in their goddamn. That's what
Like-
they need to sell out their goddamn stadium.
If you want to be a real person in this league and make an impact, you go to a big market. You don't go to a little
if
market.
you want to be a real,
You don't go to
the
Jacksonville.
shittiest situation and you bring it from, you rise from the ashes. You get more respect out of that.
Dude, like Doug Peterson tried that. Like everybody.
Doug Peterson at what point was successful at one point, and then it went down
with the Eagles.
No, with Jacksonville.
They went to the playoffs, but they
Yeah.
got beaten by like.
No, they
got-
won one game, I think.
How many have the Bears won in 20?
More than
But
one.
But
We
that's what I'm
went to
saying.
that-
Like,
Wait,
how are
wait,
we
whoa.
comparing?
No,
We
no,
have a
no, no,
Super
no,
Bowl
no.
too, Chris. You want to keep
No.
pushing that timetable
No,
back?
okay, but 20 years is 20 years. 20 years is 20 years. Okay, like I'm just
We
saying,
went to the
20
Super
years.
Bowl within the 20
That's
years.
great. But Jacksonville has had the better outlook in the last 10 of those 20 than anything else.
That's not true.
That's not true. We've had two.
We've been to the playoffs twice. How many times have they?
Yeah, we've been to
Three.
NFC Championship game.
They haven't been to the playoffs 3 times in the last 10 years.
In the last 10 years, I believe Jacksonville has made it to the playoffs more than the Bears.
They did actually make it to the divisional game
With Bortles, right?
with Bortles. Yeah.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't. Jacksonville is. They have their quarterback. So yeah, I mean, I guess. But the fact is, they're paying their quarterback $55 million a year, and that really puts a hamper on the rest of the roster. So who
They do have
knows?
a good-
We'll
and
see.
They do have Brian Thomas Jr., who's looked amazing this year, the rookie wide receiver. Okay,
We don't have
Boys, it's-
Shabs on our team either.
boys, it's time. Week 18 positivity rating, or you know what? I'm generous. Overall positivity rating for the Bears.
Ooh, I
Going
thought we were
into
doing
the
that next
offseason.
week. All right.
Okay,
Um,
week 18. Week 18. I changed my point.
Thank you.
Positive
Okay,
rating
week
for the Bears.
18.
It's the same
We-
fucking thing.
No, Chris is gonna do some research. He's gonna give individual points to O line, D line, special teams, and then
Jesus
come
Christ.
range.
You didn't even have me week 17, bro. I don't even know what I was at. I think I was at 4.5.
We were at our lowest. We were at
No,
our
you
lowest
were
as
at
well.
your lowest.
You
No,
you've
but
been
like
at
as a
zero
group,
for like
I've been at 0 for like 4 weeks. You know what? We got 1 win. We're undefeated in 2025.
yes.
I was
I'm at a
so fucking waiting for Ryan Poles to say that, and he didn't, thankfully. And then fucking Kevin Warren comes out and says it. Like, he didn't say those exact words, but he's like, I'm just so proud of the guys that we ended the season on a victory. Like, dude, fucking blow yourself, bro. You just lost 10 fucking games in a row. I am gonna give the positivity rating of a 5 because at the beginning of the year, the main goal was Caleb Williams, and Caleb performed admirably for this team, and looks like he will be a staple for years to come, regardless of what this idiot thinks to my right.
It's
Okay.
funny you say that. It's just a rookie year, and everyone stumbles in the sophomore slump. So we'll see.
This is
That's not actually true.
Yeah, I think Burrow made it to the Super Bowl in his sophomore year.
Yeah.
He was injured.
But not in his.
Didn't have a full rookie season. I believe he was injured.
Usually,
talk about cherry picking and like.
Oh, you guys have been cherry picking all fucking year. Get off my dick. Get off my dick.
Here's a fun thing. Okay, let's do this. Beginning of the year to now, right? Miller was at a 3 at the beginning of the season. He ended the season on 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Chris was at a 5 at the beginning of the season. He ended the season as 1.
Yeah.
I was at 4.5 at the beginning of the season. I end the season at 5.
You need to get yourself checked, buddy. I don't know.
We
why.
probably do, because our prediction of record at the beginning of the season
We
to
talked
now.
about that. I want to bring that up next week because I know we're running long on this episode. But that's something I want to talk about, where like our expectations and fucking NFL films for giving us hope too. The 4-0 preseason.
Hard Knocks fucking fucked us.
Okay.
But anyway, all right, that's it, people. We're done. Week 18 in the books. Bears are packed up and headed home, waiting on a long off season. We're waiting on a head coach, waiting on so much more, waiting on the draft as usual. For all of us here, this is Boopen signing off. Thank you for listening. We hope that we brought some positivity into your life today. Hit that like and subscribe button if we did. Give us feedback. We're a new podcast. We love listening to you. We'll keep doing this. We'll suffer in our misery together until next off season. Goodbye.
Next off season. Good Lord, we're already starting with shit. Bye.
Boy.
All right, good job, everyone.